Hello everyone, my name is Paula Soraghan and I work for Independent Living Movement Ireland as the Community Development Worker for counties Wexford, Waterford, Carlow and Kilkenny on the Voice Project. And we are delighted to have you all here today. And we are going to be talking to Lucy Webster, and she is a journalist, an activist and an author. And we're really excited to be speaking to Lucy today. So just as a way of the short description for myself, for people who are visually impaired, I am white, I have short black curly hair, I have hazel eyes, and I'm wearing a white jumper, and I also have headphones on. Lucy Webster is a writer, political journalist, and disability advocate. She freelances for publications including The Guardian and Tortoise, and previously worked for the BBC. Lucy is known for covering disability issues in politics, society, culture, and for her work to demystify disability and explain ableism to new audiences. Lucy has captured the hearts and minds of readers with her critically acclaimed book, The View from Down Here, Life of a Young Disabled Woman. Lucy will delve into her lived experiences, shedding light on the challenges and triumphs of navigating the world as a disabled person. With a combination of humour, resilience, and activism, Lucy's voice resonates deeply, offering a powerful reminder of the importance of inclusion and understanding. So, Lucy, I would just personally like to say that I thoroughly enjoyed reading your book, and it really, really resonated with me as a young queer disabled woman myself. So it was really refreshing to read an authentic perspective from a disabled woman to really address the issues that we're facing, but you do it so passionately and in such an articulate and balanced way. So I suppose just to kick off, the first question I'd like to ask you is, could you tell me about your book? I found it so insightful and engaging to read and it had such a reflecting perspective. What was your favourite part of the writing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Um, yeah, the book sort of came about, I guess, from a variety of different things that happened. I was working at the BBC during COVID and was getting quite frustrated about not being able to do the activism that I wanted to do about what was happening to disabled people during COVID, because at the BBC you can't be activist, because it's impartial and um taxpayer funded. um, so I was thinking about getting into more activist stuff. And then I've been thinking about the issues that affect disabled women in particular for a long time. Um, and then I sort of had a quite mad personal experience, um, where I was turned away from a dating agency for being too disabled. Basically. They told me that no one was willing to date me, and to go elsewhere. Um, and several things happened with that. One, I tweeted about it and went so extremely viral, uh, that I got quite a shock. It was shared sort of thousands and thousands of times and covered in the press and covered in broadcasts, and I was on the radio talking about it, and it was a lot, it was a lot, but it showed me that talking about these things does do something. And the other thing that I learned from that experience was talking to disabled men, many of whom had faced ableism in dating, but nothing on the scale or not the sort of hatred that I got on dating apps, that I got on dates from men. I thought there was something else is going on here. And that's when I really started thinking about the intersection of ableism and sexism and how they influence each other. And sort of, once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. Um, and I'm thinking about it all the time. I always said I didn't want to write a book because I didn't know what I'd write a book about. But I couldn't stop thinking about this intersectional problem. I thought, I think there's a book here. I think I might have to go and write a book. So I quit my job, went freelance, was very lucky to get an agent very quickly through a connection that I had and wrote a book proposal and was very lucky again to get a book deal quite quickly. I just wrote the book in a slightly mad, very intense year. And here we are, sort of a year and a half after it came out. So that's sort of where it came from and how it happened.
Thanks a million for that. Incredible. And as I say, I think it speaks to how a lot of disabled people feel and disabled women, like we can really feel invisible at times and, kind of gaslit by like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. And, you kind of just have to put up with things and, it's just the way that it is. And, it's the way that things are right now, but it doesn't mean that that's acceptable, and
Yeah.
that
And
it has to stay there.
what I realized was that experience was going viral. So, um, was I also sort of, as I said, I was working in the BBC and I was in my early 20s when I started the BBC. I'd be out and about on the weekend and something would happen to me or someone would say something to me or whatever. I'd go in on Monday morning and someone would say, how was your weekend? And I'd tell them the story. And a lot of these stories to me were really run of the mill, happened all the time, not a big deal. And these very smart, very well informed journalists would be shocked and horrified and couldn't quite believe what they were hearing. I thought, oh, no one knows that this is what the world's like. Like, that hasn't even occurred to them. And people would say, you should really write about this. I go, no, I'm a political journalist. But then I think the experience of COVID, as we all know, was so bad that I started to think, actually, no, I should be writing about this. I think also I was just really, really angry. uh, as women and minorities, our anger is often discredited and thought to be rational, but But I thought, no, I'm correct to be angry. And I should be angry. Actually, everyone should be angry. So I'm gonna write a book that hopefully inspires some anger. And so it's an angry book, but it's also a funny book.
Absolutely. And I suppose that brings me on, Lucy, to my next question. So, as a journalist and activist, you use social media so effectively. You've mentioned it before about going viral. So, is there a recent piece of work or a project that you've shared that you're really proud of?
Yeah, so about quite early on after I went through that, I wrote a piece, a big feature for The Guardian about the sexual harassment of disabled women. Um, and all women face astronomical rates of harassment, but it's about double for disabled women. And that in itself is horrifying. But then if you look at why, um, it becomes even more horrifying. It's because we're assumed not to be able to do anything about it. Um, so I interviewed some phenomenal women about their experiences. I interviewed some experts. I wrote this feature. I didn't quite know how it would land with the public. Some things, about exploring and think fascinating and important, and then no one read it. But this actually did really well and really got shared a lot and talked about a lot and sort of started this conversation about disabled women's experiences and the fact that desexualization and hypersexualization often go hand in hand. Um, and I think I was really pleased to see how people responded to that piece.
No, that's great, and it's so true. And on the one hand, as you say, it can be, it's so nuanced because, it's not one or the other. Like the two of them are very much, ableism and sexism is very much linked, and it can be this contradiction sometimes, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And that
Mm.
the issues that we face are very, very real and they need to be addressed and they need to be taken seriously. And there does need to be more light shed on them. Um, to avoid, these issues going, unrecognized for much longer because people can really struggle and it can create serious issues for people and it's really the importance of community and I know it can be a long road to acceptance. It certainly was for me and I know for a lot of other disabled women and disabled people, but knowing that there's people out there like yourself that genuinely have the lived experience and that, are doing such incredible work and writing about these issues in such a nuanced and incredible way, it really does give people hope and it really I suppose it validates people's existence and
Mm.
experiences as well, Lucy. And I think really that shouldn't be underestimated. And I think social media is such an incredible tool, to reach people and to connect with people that
Yeah.
you might not necessarily have been able to connect with because geography might have previously been a barrier.
Mm.
And I know, unfortunately, the tides have changed a bit, but I still think um, regardless, it is a great way and a great tool for the disabled community and in all of its glory and nuance and the intersectional identities that we belong to, that we do belong to every walk of life and every background.
Yeah, I think so much of that is true and a lot. As an activist I do my work through writing. And sometimes I think, would I be more effective as a lobbyist? Would I be more effective sitting outside Parliament with a placard? Um, but I do think representation is powerful both for the people being represented, because we grew up with absolutely no representation of disabled people. So it's really important for us, and it's really important for non-disabled people to see it, right? And so when I'm working and when I'm writing, that's what's in my head. Like, if I can show the reality, I can both make someone feel seen and understood and represented, and I can say to the other people, like, oi, you need to step up and deal with this. I think it's funny what you say about sort of giving people hope, because I'm very outwardly very successful, and I'm not gonna like deny myself that that's true, but I think recently I've been talking to disabled people, and I think I have it all figured out because I've written a book. And sometimes I'm on the telly, right? I think it's really important to say I absolutely do not have it all figured out. I cried like 4 times yesterday. Like, I don't want to present this exterior where I look like I have it sus. Like, being a disabled person, being a disabled woman, being a disabled queer woman in the world is extremely hard work. And yeah, I've written a book, but it doesn't make it any easier. Uh, so I'm very happy to provide representation and a voice and a space for people, and I love doing that, but I don't want it to look like I don't want to be on a pedestal, because I find it just as hard as everyone else does.
I do really appreciate you saying that, Lucy, and I think everybody here does as well. And I think it speaks to, we're all works in progress, regardless of what amount of success we have in our lives, personally, professionally. And I think, everybody deals with the imposter syndrome, but I do have a lot of respect for you, for stating that and for recognizing it. And, I think it's part of what makes us human, and it's part of as well, the genuine connection and the authenticity. And at the end of the day, we all want to be happy and we all want to live our best lives, no matter what that looks like for each of us. It's going to look different for everybody. And I suppose that brings me nicely on to my final question. So, in your newsletter, I really love that you highlighted why disability isn't neat and why we need to embrace new and different perspectives. So tell me more about your newsletter.
So the news came about sort of at the same time as the book. I went through that throughout the book, and I'm very lucky that I write about this stuff in the national press, and I love doing that. I love reaching that sort of mainstream audience that picks up the Guardian all the time and maybe isn't looking for a story about disability, but read my piece because it's there. I think that's really important, but there's only so many things you can get commissioned, right? And it has to be newsworthy, it has to be topical, and it has to be new. all of which that's how the news works, right? But there's so much about disability that isn't those things, that isn't new or newsworthy, but people don't know about. So I write the newsletter. It's very sort of based on random things that have happened to me that week, or thoughts that I've had, or conversations I had with friends, but depending what's happening, it's not very formal. It's really, this is what I'm thinking about at the moment as an activist or whatever, or a writer. It lets me reach a sort of audience that is really interested in this stuff. Wants more understanding about, like you said, lived experience. So I write about everything from sort of things people said to me in the pub to thoughts I've had about intersectionality to like how to be an ally on certain things to books to read about disability. It's a real random collection of thoughts, but I love doing it. It really makes me take kind of the chaos. I do, I do live in a certain amount of chaos, and sort of think about what I actually think about it. Sort of take a step back and think, well, what's the argument here? What's the takeaway that I've had this often like negative, shitty experience, but actually like what's the takeaway for other people? What can I use this to say? Because it's quite empowering because every time something bad happens, I think, okay, but at least I can right now on one day. And the same sort of on my social media, I'm very, very open. Sometimes probably too open. Um, because I think with disability, people really don't know about ableism, and people really don't know what ableism is. So, talking about my sort of very everyday experiences of it, whether it's dating, whether it's in a shop, whether it's not being able to buy clothes, whatever. Really, people really respond much more to those sort of very personal stories than they do to the big abstract idea of like we need to be better about disability. People don't know what that means, but they can sort of relate to, oh, someone was horrible to me on a dating app. Yeah. Uh, so I try and sort of take those very personal experiences and in the newsletter and in my social media use them to sort of make a point about society. And it seems to work and people do respond quite well to that. But it is like emotionally exhausting way of working. I'm very tired. Very tired. All the time.
But I think, all throughout your work, whether it's your memoir, whether it's your newsletter, whether you're sending out tweets on X, no matter what way you work, I think really for me, what really comes across so well is, the importance that the importance of autonomy, and that you share what you want to share, what you're comfortable with, and because you have to look after yourself first and foremost. And, burnout is a very real thing. And, we have to, set boundaries and, all that kind of thing. And it is so important in this work. And at the end of the day, we're only human. But I really do think for me, that's what really strikes me about you, Lucy, and your work, and why I think it stands out among a lot of other people. And just as well the fact that, you make your writing so accessible and so relatable, and, you know, you're not pretending to be something that you're not. You're just you. And I think that's really, really important, especially in times like these and with social media where, see all these posts and people's lives, and you just see the good bits, and that can make people feel very guarded, and it can make people feel like they're not good enough.
I don't think it's helpful. I, all my work, whether it's journalism, the memoir, the activism, the community building, the social media. I mean, I have about 7 jobs. Is that I think about non-disabled people, but I also think about sort of disabled teenagers. And they need to hear that it's okay, that it's hard. Uh, it's hard. But sometimes it's like pretty quite shit. And, and it's not because being disabled is bad, it's because ableism is bad. And no one told me that when I was 14 or 15, And now with social media, well, at least they can see it. People like me who are successful do find it hard. Uh, I think it would do them and me a disservice to only show the good bits or to pretend that everything's fine because it's not.
Just to say as well, Lucy, where to get Lucy's stuff. So you can get it on Amazon, and it's about €17 for the hard copy, or you can get it on audiobook, and that's about €8.50 in euro again. And you can get it on Easton's or in Easton's for about €19. And I would really encourage everybody to follow Lucy on social media. Instagram is at Lucy Webster Journalist. That's all together, and it's all small letters. And on X, Lucy's handle is at Lucy underscore Webster underscore. And Lucy's newsletter is lucywebster.substack.com.
Google me and it will come up.
Thank you so much to everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much, Lucy, for an incredible, insightful, and funny input talking to us this afternoon. I know I speak for everybody when I say that we all thoroughly enjoyed it, and we really value you coming to talk to us on Zoom. And I hope that everybody has a wonderful rest of your day. This recording will be available on the Independent Living Movement Ireland for those who were not able to attend online today. Thank you so much. Bye bye.